Bang, we're on.
Hello.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Good morning.
Morning, afternoon. What's up? How's life?
What's that show called? Do you ever watch that show at school called, it was like, it wasn't Today Tonight, it was like a kids version, like This Day, Today.
No.
It was like a current affairs show for kids, and we used to watch it in like primary school. Yep. That's all I'm going to say about that.
What's the point of having a current affairs show for kids?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was obviously propaganda.
Right.
Government propaganda, like
Just
we're
getting
looking
them right
after
in.
you, and yeah, this is how you filter water or something. It's
Yeah.
always about like, there was always about teaching people, like kids, how like this is the sewerage plant, and then the water comes out like this, and it's obviously perfect.
Oh, yes.
And this is what comes out of your taps.
Government
but,
municipals.
Yeah. Fully propaganda. yeah.
And this is why we put fluoride in your toothpaste.
That's it. And let's watch a guy put the signs on the road.
Yes.
Yeah. And
wow, how cool is his job?
yeah, and he's there going, what the fuck is there a camera crew doing here? It's 40 degrees.
Yeah.
There's tarmac.
Yeah, they used to be different too. I feel like the road worker has changed a lot. It's a lot of really lazy men and women now.
Right.
Whereas it just used to be the really hard, unskilled, shit dudes.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
Yeah. And they'd want it over quick, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be out there.
No one else was tarring a road.
I feel like it's just, I feel like they just go, okay, we'll just do that little strip to try and keep people employed for the year, maybe. And then they move them over to the next block or something, and they come back. You're like, well, why don't you just do that whole bit?
Yep.
Why don't you just do the roundabout in one go?
It's just a big tax fucking fraud, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like a numbers game. Look at all of the jobs that we've got.
Yeah.
So you can just put on one of these. I drive past that huge bridge job on the way here every time.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's always, I always see people standing around now. So it used to be just hard, real shit dudes doing lots of work.
Yeah.
Unsafely.
Yeah.
And I preferred that.
Yeah.
Because now there's just 7 people standing around, and I always assume that whoever owns that company or that section has got like 7 friends, and they're like, do you want no work and easy money?
And then they will quote 7 people instead of, the 2 that you actually need.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And they make a little bit of money off
definitely.
this.
Definitely.
And it's like, no, everything needs to be safe now. So we've got 7 people doing 2 people's jobs.
Yeah.
And I just miss the days of like expendable shit people.
Yeah.
You tar it by yourself. Hey, yo.
Oh, we got the wrong soundboard on.
No,
But
that says claps.
That works.
Oh, no, that's not a clap. It's a drum roll.
That definitely works. This one.
This is our new intro.
That's hilarious.
We're going backwards.
Fuck it. It's all good.
You have to deal with it today.
Yeah. I actually like that. That actually worked.
Yeah.
Just like the end of the old man win. Just.
I'll tell you where it's not happening is in kitchens. There's not more safety in kitchens, hey? There's not more on-staff people in kitchens.
There's not 5 more staff members to quote. Yeah. For sure.
There's not like one guy who just does the deep fryer because that's a dangerous job. He's not allowed to prep.
He's like, oh, do you have your tickets in the deep fryer?
Yeah, he's not allowed. He has to wear special welding gloves.
I used to give people shit about their tickets because I don't understand tickets. Like, like fucking welders have tickets. Let's not get into welders again.
Yeah.
Boilermakers are funny, but welders
Forklift tickets.
Forklift tickets. Fucking
lifting tickets to lift something.
Yep. Doggers. I used to give all these people shit. Like, are you a dogger? Are you what was the other one? It was scaffolding, but it was called it. It was like you just build Lego, right? Meccano sets.
Definitely.
But they called a certain name.
Yes.
Riggers and doggers. You're like, you're a rigger or you dogger? Oh, it all depends on if there's 5 mil, and you're like, you're a dog, eh? Yeah.
Those I wonder what you learn in scaffolding.
I don't know. I don't want to be up there though.
No.
Never.
That's why you don't do it. Yeah. Exactly.
I always wonder how they get the crane up too. I've always wondered.
Because
they got to build it, and then the crane goes on. Then you've got to get up there and there's a crane operator.
Yeah,
it seems like catch-22 to me. It seems like you got to get up there, but how do you build it to get up there?
Don't you think that they try and make it as confusing as possible so you don't ask any questions about what they're actually doing.
Like you need a crane to build the crane, but who built the first crane to get the crane, right?
You'll never find out.
We ask, we're here for all the important questions.
Yeah. I did a forklift ticket once, and the pressure not to fail something so easy was high.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so all right, Mick, okay, so they always used to take the piss out of these cunts too. So how do you do a forklift ticket? Like, what do you start? I mean, there must be...
You come in and listen.
Is there levels?
Yeah, I think there's levels.
Okay, so how do you start?
You come in and you do a lesson where they talk to you about the handbook that you're going to do a test on the next day.
And is that all about a forklift, or is it your environment and everything?
Forklift mainly.
Yeah, right.
With a couple of other dumb things.
Yep.
But the thing about the test is, like, I think you can't fail any questions, or you can only fail like 2 questions. But they're talking about every question the day before.
Yeah, okay.
So it's weird because it's like just a little bit of memory stuff.
Yeah.
Where you're like, but if you get a couple wrong, that's it. It's over. But it's dumb because they're treating you like an idiot.
Yep.
Talking to you about it, and you're like, fuck, I hope I don't turn out to be an idiot tomorrow because I didn't remember some of the really boring shit that this guy's saying right now.
Yeah.
And then there's the driving component.
Yeah,
which some people failed.
I just don't know. Okay.
And if you fail, that's just it. Get off the forklift. It's not like we'll let you go through to the end or anything. It's like, that's it. You hit the cone, get off the forklift, you're done. But there's like a bunch of other retards who are passing and you're not for some dumb, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing that you were doing.
Yeah, they were looking at the wrong cone and they passed the right cone.
Yeah. So you got to listen to instructions and then also deliver.
I knew it. Yeah, I'm listening.
But yeah, it's dumb. But you don't use a forklift before that point either. So.
Wait, what?
Well,
you can't learn first? It's not like a...
No, because you read, jump on. You read and you listen and you do, and then you go to the forklift and pass your test.
Yeah, weird. So I've experienced a lot of forklift drivers, and they're all like, they just whiz around warehouses like fucking sidewinders.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And they're all like, you imagine like 10 years ago they would have had a cigarette just hanging, and now they're not allowed, and it's like they're bitter.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and they all like argue with each other, and you're like, how are you arguing? It's a warehouse with the thing, number 1032.5. That's where that goes. It always goes there. Like, how are you... I couldn't figure out how they were arguing with each other. Because nothing ever happened. They didn't collide. No one ever had, like, an accident. It's like, how are you... what could you possibly be arguing about?
Yeah.
And they always used to do it. And then you're like, can you... And I was like, I need literally like a kilo of something that was like a ton off that shelf.
Yeah.
And they just go... And you're like, why are you guys arguing? If that's how easy... what I'm asking, I think, is ridiculous. I want 1 single kilo of a ton of shit up in the top left corner. You should be like, have you filled in the paperwork? Or, but they just go, okay. But then, yeah.
Yeah, safety goes out the window. I had like a forklift license for a day, and these trucks were just driving in, and they're like, get this thing off. And they're like tons because they're these huge mining cables, tons and tons.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, just get it off. But it's all kind of, everything's all wedged in.
Yeah.
And they just expect you to go in and and you're not doing it quick enough.
Yeah.
Or you could fuck it up. And then some of the times, because I was really new to it, I was like, are you sure that this is okay? Because it's your truck.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. So I lift it up and it all this other shit starts fucking around on the truck.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, hold on. And I'm like,
it'll slide too, hey? I've seen it. But I have seen some very impressive fucking manoeuvring off the top shelf, and I don't want any part of this.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
That is some brave shit.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in your position. And then it's like...
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, dude, how do you even... Because you can't see it either. Your head's like this. They got some weird mirror. That's when I was like, okay, this is impressive. All the other shits doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy warehouse work.
No.
And it's in the last couple of years.
Yeah. It pays all right, though.
Yeah, it pays all right, but it's just boring as fuck.
Someone showed me how to use the last warehouse job I did. Someone showed me how to use this cardboard compressor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is ace. I'm into anything like that. Like, it looks sick.
Just pushing shit.
It just, you just put the cardboard in there and it wraps it itself with those fucking, whatever, fiberglassy, wrappy looking things.
Yeah.
And I was like, wicked. But once you send it one time, you're like, oh, okay. So that's how you do it. And then you get the forklift guy to take it out the back. And then you're like, oh, and then we just fill it up with more.
Now it's the rest of your day.
Yeah. I was like, oh, shit. I thought we were having to I imagined we were strapping it or something. They're like, no. What you got to do as soon as it gets to that level, you push the certain series of buttons and then you get the forklift guy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I just couldn't, I didn't see that I could have my lunch break like that every day. Because there's a dude that'd been there like 30 years or something, right?
Yep.
And it's like, it's 12:30, have your half an hour lunch break, and you sit down and you eat your lunch, and then you go back to work. And I'm like, I couldn't,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
The first one I did, the Jiffy van would come around. Do you ever have a Jiffy van? It's like it's not, they're all different names now. It used to always just be called the Jiffy van, but it's like a van that's basically a 7-Eleven that has just garbage.
All the good stuff.
Yes.
The chicken sandwiches on white bread.
Yeah, but the cheap everything. Like the cheapest sausage rolls, cheapest pies, everything. And they're all in the warmer, and then you have whatever else is going on.
Yeah.
Biltong, just whatever keeps long enough and you don't have to prove the use by date on them.
Yeah.
Like you think that this cart's coming around just warming up the exact amount of fucking pies and then throwing them out at the end of the day. Fuck off. Anyway, this guy was like, I've been having the same pie from the same Jiffy van for 20 years. And I was like, have you got cancer?
Yeah.
And then you got cancer and I thought, oh shit. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's a Jiffy van, but it's like he was excited when the Jiffy van got there because he'd get his choc chill, and he'd get his dumbass pie, get 2 of them, and he'd sit there, and then he'd have the second one later on the day. So he'd just sit on his on his desk. Yeah, and then he'd get upset at people and then just smash his pie on his face. You're like, this is fucking insane.
But I don't understand how a human can be so routine based, or maybe I'm just like jealous of people's ability to routine.
I just think there's different types of people. I couldn't do it.
I can't do it.
I couldn't do that 2 days in a row.
Yeah, but
like,
then why that's
same
why
shitty pie too. It's not even like a nice one.
Why did chefing last so long then?
Because every day was different. Every day was extremely different. Even if you thought, it's the same menu, there was always shit. Like the fish didn't come in, and you got rations, and then the fish came in. You got to fillet it. It's not like you just walked in, it was all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it was an ongoing effort to try to nail it. Like even if you nailed it, tomorrow you can nail it better.
Yeah.
That's what got me hooked, I reckon.
Yeah, the quest for a perfect service that barely ever happened ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the adrenaline. Because if we talk about the difference between a warehouse and a kitchen, there's zero adrenaline.
That's why they actually, now I think about it, that's probably why they fight, hey?
Because there's nothing else to do.
What are you going to do?
You got to peek it.
I've seen them nearly fist fight over nothing. No one collided with each other. Like if you and me collided in the kitchen 4 times, you'd be like, one of us is fucking up.
Yeah.
But we're actually hitting each other. We were at meetings or whatever. These guys are just zipping around a warehouse and then going,
yeah.
And then Jiffy Van gets there, they're all mates for fucking 20 minutes, 22 minutes. And then they go back and go, who put that up there? It's just supposed to be there.
And it doesn't really...
Who ordered that? And then they get into like who ordered what. It's like, that's not your job, but it could be if you weren't...
An idiot.
If you... If you weren't content with the Jiffy Van and your Sidewinder for 22 years, right?
Yeah.
That could have been your job the second year out. If you just said, because that was what happened to me. I just kept asking questions at the warehouse and then I got onto something else and someone else would get the shitty, like, I've been here 2 years. I haven't been on the X12 computer. It's like, what is that? It's like, that's the thing you're using now. And you're like, oh, it's in your hand. You're like, well, you just showed me how to do it because I asked him. Yeah.
Whoa. The other guy's like,
what the fuck? And then it was like a rift. And I was like, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even that smart. It's just, I get bored. And I'm like, what are you using? That looks different. The ones we had were black and white, and he had a colour one. So I was like, what's the deal with the colour one, bro? And he's like, you want to help me? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the boredom, and I think it's just like overall culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of culture going on. Like, I don't mean like people talking about art.
Yeah.
But you got a shared interest of trying to achieve something.
Yeah.
At least.
Also, you're not actually making the boxes or the pallets. They're just coming in.
Yeah.
You're not making, like in my case, you're not making the cheese that's coming in from France.
Yeah.
You're just putting it in the spot that's fucking probably inappropriate for it to be. You're like, it's cheese. You're like, yeah, it's ex-bucket. You're like, yeah, it's out of the fridge. You're like, do you want me to? Yeah, it's supposed to go in the fridge. You're like, dude.
Yeah. It's interesting that caring about food is acceptable, though.
Yeah.
Like to have a high passion.
Yeah.
Like talking about Stewie, like he just has this fucking high passion.
Yeah.
Sends him insane.
Yeah.
But for food, that's okay. But if you have that about like warehouse products, people are like,
I'm already laughing, yeah.
Yeah, or something else. Like there's not many other things. Like what about cleaning? Like, as they both sit in the same realm, right? Like if there was some cleaners who were like, well, I'm obsessed with cleaning. We were like, that's crap. But because it's food.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You're allowed to have an obsession.
That is true because I've worked in a few hotels and the cleaners, well, or at least what do you call them? You can't call them maids anymore.
Yeah, the cleaning staff.
Yeah. So they were the room service people. They would always go like, no, you can't touch that chemical. That's my chemical. They would be very specific about what's on their little cart.
Yeah.
I remembered that. And I used to laugh at that because I was like, can I have some of that? I need some, like, but that chemical works better. I was like, yeah, that's why we have it.
Yeah.
That's ours. This shit you have is yours. You order this. I was like, yeah, but what if I, and then I used to go, well, why are you so, he's like, yeah, but.
Yeah, I did
So
room
you're right.
service once.
You're right. They are very passionate about their room. Well, I don't know if passion's the right word though.
Yeah, but why are chefs special? Why are we allowed to be special?
Yeah.
And because it is just food.
And what we say is what we say, and that's it. It's like, no, you can't have that. And everyone goes, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not like if we broke it down like a warehouse, it's like we're all just doing jobs.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like there's like 5 forklift workers in here. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them can do it a little bit better than others. That's the same shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I even saw
So
Thomas
true.
Keller talking about chefing on the internet this week. And I was like, yeah, you're just a dude. Like when I was a kid, it was different, right? Like Thomas Keller was like the boss.
Yeah.
But he was just a chef at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He was just cooking food. He was just putting sabayon in eggshells and people were like, wow.
Yeah, and he wrote the book. Is what happened. He wrote the book on sous vide, even though it was around. He was the first person to write that under pressure book.
Yeah, but what was the one before that, which was really good?
I don't remember. I just remember the under pressure one
on this shelf.
Oh yeah, it might be. I don't know if I've got the
I don't know.
here.
It's just interesting that
I brought
food
the
is
shit
so
ones in
passionate.
for our podcast.
Like it's almost an excuse, right? Where it's like, oh, because I'm passionate about food, I can be an ass or crazy or whatever you want to put it to, you know?
Yeah.
A heavy drinker. I can drink all night. I'm going to be a chef tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's you forever.
Yeah, until you die.
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's it has to be, it's passed down.
Yeah, but I'm also like that. Like I am passionate about those things.
Yeah.
All right, boys, I've got a tale for you.
Chef Hotline. Tell us a story.
Probably one of the worst shifts I'd ever had.
Dude, that is fucking hilarious.
Blowjob and buy the trash can.
On speakpipe.com/no crying in the coolroom.
Didn't even think people wanted to be anonymous, but that makes a lot of sense.
The Chef Hotline, that's what we're calling it. It went for far too long than I remembered making it. Yeah, let's go. So we got a few here. Let's just go, see if it works.
Hey, gents. Love the podcast.
Thanks,
so
mate.
just listening to episode 25 and the bit where you're talking about saying behind or backs in public.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Coles probably 6 months ago and just out of habit, tired, long week, said behind as I nearly ran into this guy with a trolley. he turns and says, "We chef."
Oh,
Look each other in the eyes, and then nod and walk away.
No.
Probably one of the greatest moments of my life.
100%.
In history, man. You just
Keep up the
fucking...
good work, guys. Love it.
Fuck yeah.
You just did it.
We were trying to find someone.
That's amazing.
Who's found another one of us in the wild on a
Fucking
Monday?
A. Could you imagine how you would feel?
I actually got chills.
We chef.
Yeah.
I love a we chef.
What do we do with each other? Do we make
Yeah.
out? Like, what do we do?
No, they just did the chef nod.
Yeah.
And they fucked off.
That's wicked.
Dude, it's
That actually
happened.
came from nowhere. That was a good ending, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I want that so bad.
I know.
I want that in my life. Either side of it, like I want to either be standing there and someone say behind and I give them the wee chef.
Yeah, I reckon.
Or the vice versa.
I want the first one. I want to be like, we chef.
Do you know what we
I want
need?
just like this cheeky.
We need like some kind of tally system
Yeah.
where people can just tally the wee chef at the Coles.
Because I still, even between us, right, like one person would be like, okay, one of us, just me, for example, has had like every Monday, Tuesday forever, right? And never experienced that. But like two of us in gone, I've never found another bloke.
Yeah.
But we all say the same thing.
Yes.
When we were in Coles or,
Fuck, I would just
we
fucking...
chef. Because that is exactly the right answer.
I'd be like, beers. Let's beers. Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you do? Yeah, I don't know. They did the right thing. They just had a nod and moved on. But I would be very much into like stopping and finding out who the fuck you are.
There's also that there is shopping. It's not like if you're an active chef, actively working, you've got that hustle too, even if it's not your day off. So you're like, oh,
Yeah.
give them a bit of a nod, and then you're off to find whatever the cheapest milk is or whatever. It is.
Yeah. I wonder what they were shopping for.
Yeah.
No, there needs to be like a website where you have to like, it gets corroborated by the other person and it's a date and a location and there's a tally
Yeah.
of when it happens.
Yeah. Who's experienced?
Because I honestly thought before that message right there that it never happened.
No, never.
It's never happened once.
That's why I like the ending, because I was like, where is this going? And I was like, oh. First time. That is the first time. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
We got a 4-parter as well. So, as usual, we don't listen to these. This might be a bad idea.
Everyone knows now why.
After the guy's name was, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I think it was Roots, his last name.
Roots?
So it might have been Rootster or something like that.
Ruda.
Ruda?
Ruda would have been appropriate.
Yeah.
Fellas, my name is Ben. I am in Chicago, and I've been cooking for about 31 years now. This sounds like I'm at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say I've been listening to your show, quite enjoy it, and I'm so very happy how openly and honestly you guys are talking about mental health shit in the industry and just how tremendously unhealthy it is. I just left a job of 8 years working at a private school, cooking all scratch for a bunch of kids and a bunch of teachers and shit. To become a private chef, personal chef, working in people's houses and stuff. Just because, after 8 years of doing the same thing, which was fine, it was gratifying, it was fulfilling and all of that kind of stuff, you just run up against the same problems all the time.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where you've solved all the problems you can, and then you just have, what you have left are all the problems that nobody's interested in solving. And that shit just grates on you. So I'm sure I'm going to see new problems in the new job, but they'll be new, and I'm really excited about having new problems.
That's a good point.
That's
a great point.
That is a really good point.
It's new problems.
It's actually I feel like all these capillaries have opened in my brain.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
Because we've talked about that a lot.
No one's ever been able to explain it properly.
Yeah.
Or to us, I think. Yeah.
So you're done with all the problems that you've got there.
Yeah.
And you move on. And so it's not that it was different, it was just that they were new problems.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a good idea.
You're like, oh, look at these 12 problems I have never tackled before. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually used to like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I used to like about it is you come in and you'd be... So I thought that I was fresh from a holiday, but it's just I'm fresh for new problems.
Yeah.
New people, their problems, new kitchens, that problem.
Yeah. I think that's why you're good at... That has to be why you're good at problem solving. I'm very good at problem solving. I knew I kind of was as a kid, but I didn't, I would always sort of shy away from it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, if there is a problem, I'll just go, this is how you solve it. And you're always 99.9% right all the time.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah.
Yeah, or you at least get in, you were just telling me something before the pod, like you're not afraid to get into an uncomfortable situation and try to solve a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even when I went to the fucking vegan restaurant, there was a heap of problems. Like the shelving units were in the wrong spot. And I walked in and I'm like, oh, like I had energy to be like, if I move that to there, I've solved half of these problems. Yeah. And if I do that to there. So it was like logistics of kitchen stuff. And that was enough to be excited.
Yeah, I actually used to like, that's a good point. I actually used to like doing the dry store, like on whatever day it was, normally the Sunday or something like that, the lazy Sunday. But I used to like trying to, like, oh shit, now we've got an extra shelf, and all lined up. There was no wasted space. Everyone can get to where they wanted to. All the handles were on the outside. All the taps were on the outside.
Things are in buckets.
Yeah.
Not in paper, like falling apart.
Everything was labelled properly.
Yeah.
Obviously, the week would go by and you're like, you'd fill up that fucking shelf real quick.
Yeah, you know when you walk away and you come back and someone's just lazily put like the Maggi stock powder
in a massive bag of rice,
just
you're like,
in your whole new area.
Rice bin. Yeah, yeah. I know.
Fucking A.
But I used to like that. I used to like it. I used to enjoy that.
It used to make me feel good. All of those organising and ordering things.
It's such a big energy move though, because you're like, it's the end of your week and you're fucked, but you still want to just squat and lift all this shit and move it all around. Everything weighs 10 kilos minimum. So it's like you're moving it all around, trying to wedge it in. You get a guy trying to help you.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, fuck yeah, look at you, look what we've done with
people like, do come by and admire.
Yeah.
I do it to other people. Yeah. You know what I mean? You come in, you're like, that's good.
They're looking at the dry store like it's a supermodel, like, whoa, that's cool. Oh, that's up there now. Yeah, it was really hard to, and you're like, yeah, dude.
Even getting all the pans washed and hooked up in order, in sync, in sizes and things back to where they need to be.
That's what made me laugh the other week when we had the last time Chase was on, when he was saying about like every time he opens a new kitchen, he just loves seeing everything in perfect sort of harmony, everything shiny. It's like you can get it close to that, but you can never get it exactly the first day. But like you get it close to that, you're like, fuck yeah. Everything's the pans, all handles out, everything hanging exactly where it should be.
And as clean as it can be.
Yeah.
I reckon Ben's so right. Like, because I think, like, you get to a point with the problems or the business and you're kind of like, oh, this is what it is and I'll deal with this.
Yeah.
And you can either keep complaining about those 3 or 4 problems that just keep coming back, and eventually it just gets to a point where you're like, nah, and you fuck off. And it took take me 3 months or 2 months or 8 months.
Totally.
And I feel like that's must have been what I was doing.
Yeah.
Especially like with a manager or something. You're like, I've had enough of you.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
I just think that was really well explained.
Yeah, and good for you, 31 years, man. That's fucking ongoing shit. Well done.
You actually sound quite young too as well, Benny. That's number 2.
I think it's his American accent.
Ben in Chicago again. So you did a thing about dreams, restaurant dreams. Yeah. We all have those same ones that are like, oh, the machine keeps printing out tickets and they scatter down onto the floor and you can never catch up and they get covered in grease and shit and you can't read them. Those, everybody has those ones, right? So I worked at this fancy burger place here in Chicago for a number of years, and then I quit. And I quit in that, like, slam the door, fuck you kind of way. A couple of weeks after I quit that job, I had a dream. I had a nightmare that I had purchased the restaurant from the owners, right? Except as, like, a weird sort of fuck you trick to me.
What a nasty
They left
dream.
a live lion in the kitchen, like out of the zoo, right?
Ooh.
And so here I am. It's the middle of a Friday or Saturday night, right? Tickets are just piling up. I'm totally weeded. I'm spinning in circles, and there's this lion in the kitchen. And he was cool, right? Like, the lion was pretty chill. But somehow in the structure of the dream, I knew that if I stopped producing, if I fell too far behind, that lion was going to, like, maul me and fucking kill me.
What?
And I must have had that dream once a week for about the first 6 months after I left that job.
Holy shit.
That's a trauma response, fellas.
Yeah,
that
Holy
was.
shit.
I don't think I processed that ever.
Yeah, no shit.
You just did it then.
I
Ben.
like how he's just but we've just gone. Yeah, there's a lion in the kitchen. Like the day moves on.
Yeah.
We just have to avoid the lion.
Yeah, but
It's not like let's get the lion out of the kitchen. It's like no, there's a lion.
it sounded like this lion was intent on the kitchen continuing to function.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason he wasn't eating anyone.
Yeah,
Like it had a motivation,
I don't know.
you know?
That's so funny,
Man, and to have that every week, I feel like that's a one-time dream.
You fucking quit a place, feel good about it, and then realize you
Dude.
bought it, and then there's a lion.
Dude, I get 3 of those dreams in 3 weeks. I'm like, I'm just not going to sleep this week. There's no way.
Yeah. I don't remember them, and then I'll remember sort of ones like that, and you're like, holy moly. Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
I love he said this quote thing that I was weeded.
Yeah.
I was weeded. Like, because we say sometimes, like, what? I'm in the weeds.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that before
Yeah.
this podcast, and someone said it, yeah.
That's great. I was weeded. So it's like you just can't get out of what's happening
Yeah, you're like in the
service.
fucking mud. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like. You're forever in the mud.
And more stuff is coming in or things aren't moving. And fuck, that's so funny.
I like that a lot.
Ben, you're crushing it.
Fellas, Ben in
Ben from
Chicago
Chicago.
again. So I've never done anything quite as racist as your buddy
I
who
wonder if
dressed
he-
up like he was part of the KKK and started burning crosses and shit. That's
Fucking love
fucked
that.
up.
I mean,
Love the
But I'm at
reference.
the Ritz-Carlton Hotel here in
who's
Chicago.
our buddy?
We don't-
Ruda's a legend.
We're
I
trying
know.
to figure out his name, eh?
I'll give Ruda the fucking legend status.
I know.
Best mates? I don't know. Just good friends.
You might end up with a Hall of Fame membership.
Yeah.
But I'm at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel here in Chicago, right? This is years ago. And we had a server, a banquet server, who was from Nigeria. This is the darkest dude I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you can tell from my voice. I'm a pretty white dude. This dude, darkest human being I've ever seen in my life.
We get it.
Fine.
Yeah.
He did a great job. He was part of the crew, whatever. Didn't really think twice about it. The banquet captain, the banquet chef, right? The sous chef who was in charge of the banquet kitchen, called him eggplant, which you may know as aubergine. I don't know what you guys call it in Australia.
Yeah, both of
Now,
those.
he got away with that shit because the banquet chef was also black, and he was like, I don't know, 6'7". Dude was a fucking monster. None of the rest of us called that guy eggplant. I don't remember what his name was, but we certainly did not call him that.
Eggy. Eggy Azalea.
All right. So are you allowed black on black racism?
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, we could do it to each other, not black.
I mean, they call each other the N-word. No issues.
Yeah.
Ruda, no issues.
Well, I told that story on one of the first podcasts, I think, is that I have a friend called Dylan. When I was a first-year apprentice, his name was Dylan. There was another Dylan, and one of the Dylans was black from South Africa. And they go, which Dylan? You know, so it was like
You're dying.
it was a thing like Dylan, so like, which Dylan, you know, so you just call him Blackie. And I was like, I am not calling this guy Blackie until everyone was calling him Blackie. And that was his just.
And then
ended
you'd
up-
feel like a bit of an asshole
Yeah, but you also like.
if you didn't call him
I
Blackie.
don't want to call this. And then it ended up calling Blackie. And I still to this day. Even my wife knew him. And she goes, remember Blackie?
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not even, doesn't even register that that's why.
Yeah.
But if you saw him and go, that's Blackie, you'd be like, what the fuck? Because the first time I heard it said, I was like, what is about to happen? And this guy's, I'm probably 6'2"-ish, 6'1", 6'2". So he was taller than me, so 6'3", 6'4", something like that. So yeah, same thing.
Yes.
A big South African too. Not like an accidental, like a bit, Ivory Coast or somewhere else. But like we know what happened in South Africa.
Yeah.
And we know probably why you're in Australia. It's just like, I don't want to call you the apartheid guy, Blackie.
Yes.
And I ended up doing it. And I was like, I remember the first time I said it because it was like, who are you talking to? Like no one called him Dylan.
Yeah.
It was just Blackie. And he was like, yeah. Like it was nothing. Like, and it felt good. I'm going to say it felt like really good.
Were you like on
a
the
fucking
edge of your seat?
adrenaline rush. I was like, yeah. But that is one of those things that I don't know if it's changed now, but like that was not seen to be Like we could have called him Aubergine. Like
Yeah.
It could have been, that's what his name is, or Orby, Eggy, Eggplant, any of those. You knew where it came from, but that was...
Yeah, but now you're moving away from it. I like the directness
Yeah.
of Blackie.
Yeah.
Compared to like moving away from it because maybe you think it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah. It could
But
have,
we'll go over into this area of vegetable rather than just straight down the line.
But he owned it too. He was just like, just call me Blackie. Like he didn't... Yeah, so it was kind of his thing.
But the problem back in the day was you weren't allowed to choose your own nickname. When people gave you nicknames, that was it.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the 21st century, it would be a thing where like someone tries a nickname and you go, nah, not that one.
Yeah.
Give them
you
like...
can't choose it.
Yeah, but then it's on. Once you say yes, it's on.
I was on a cricket team once. One season they called me Fallopian. And I don't know how that started. But for the whole, it was Fallopes. Lopes.
Yeah.
Fellows. Like it was just cricket. Like, get it, Flopes. You're like, catch it, Flopes. You're like, but I remember not even registering that they were even calling me it. But it was just on the cricket team. It wasn't just like it was just that cricket team for that season.
Yeah.
So however that happened, obviously I didn't call myself Fallopian. But you're right. You shouldn't pick your own nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are derogatory.
Yeah.
In a way, nicknames, aren't
other
they?
people being called other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I can't remember how that happened.
And also, if we're trying to get more equal, because two white dudes, like a full cricket team of white people, there's going to be some hectic nicknames in there.
Yeah.
Besides fallopian tubes or
Yeah.
flops. Like we go hard at each other.
Yeah.
So why would you want to not extend that to all ethnicities?
I don't know. Well, I mean, history, I would say.
Possibly.
A little bit.
But aren't we trying to heal?
Like if you were Jewish,
Yes.
there would be some things I'd be like,
That you wouldn't?
I don't know. I'd think twice.
But what if we take the sting out of them?
But if you're on a cricket team, I would definitely have called you it.
We'll call them Fahrenheit.
I would Dusty. I would call
Fazza.
Don't let him in the showers.
Fazzy.
Yeah. There was
And I always love a new guy that comes in and is like, what do you call him Fazzy for? Oh, Fahrenheit? Because of the war?
Yeah. But you know what that is though? That is what that is. That is like what you can't say it anymore. It's like boys being boys. It's locker room chat.
Yeah.
But that's what this is. This is like, but he let it go. On the street, it still felt weird to yell, Blackie, are you coming to the pub down the street? Right?
I wouldn't. Yeah. But then he's not answering to Dylan.
Your mouth, you're like, oh, you're in this vacuum. Like, is someone going to beat me up? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was fine with it because he was just normalising. Like if someone yelled fallopian tube at me, I just go, hey,
mate.
Yeah. So weird.
What do you reckon kids are doing with nicknames? I bet you they're trash now, hey.
I don't know. I don't think they would be telling people though.
Their nicknames.
Maybe ask my daughter if she's heard some interesting nicknames at the school.
We were brutal as kids, like young teenagers with each other.
Yeah. But I think that is the
and footy names like with the Aboriginal kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And then back to us. The Aboriginal kids were very mean.
Yeah, I played like one game, well, not one game, like sort of 1 year footy with the school. And obviously we just get absolutely slaughtered by the just absolute talent that is the Aboriginal kids on the footy field. Just they're made for this shit. Just running all day.
Yeah.
Running through you. Not aggressively, just like this is what we do.
Yeah.
Like
very skilled.
You sit on your ass, we run, right? Like, and these guys were just like snapping it from 50 meters down the. Like you can't defend that. And they were like, they would yell out some really funny things to us. Like, everything. Waddy, Kleinial. There was really really interesting ones too. There was like Captain Cook, things like that.
Cookie.
It was real funny. I find that hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
Yeah, it's like go back. Yeah, but there was all like, maybe you go back home, Captain Cook.
Yeah.
That's the shit.
Yeah, fucking give it, eh?
Yeah.
I reckon that's
funny. But also, they were beating you up.
And
it was like, I get it. Like, we are useless out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, there's a lot, especially with like, in kitchens, there's like with all of the different types of us that there are.
Yeah.
Ethnic. Fucking A, there's a lot going on. Yeah,
I like that about the kitchens. There was like, you see everything. You see everything and everyone. There is obviously, we keep going back to it, but it's true. There is like drug addicts. There is potential drug addicts. There is every ethnicity you'll ever meet. Like every backpacker comes through a kitchen.
Yeah.
At some point for, between one day and 4 years. They get a visa or they do whatever they want. But like you see every single thing. And they're all equal, man.
Yeah, except French people.
Except French people who think they're better than everyone else.
Yeah. You're allowed to hate French people.
Even though I had this kitchen hand once called Philippe. Obviously, we called him Philip.
Yes.
And he would, as a kitchen hand, correct you on the pronunciation when you were calling out dockets. So you were calling out dockets to the brigade, and he would just correct you just loud enough for you to hear. So if you said like confit duck, he'd go duck confit, and you're like, I heard that cunt. Also, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, he would cop a lot. I would be
Fucking
up his
Philippe,
asshole.
dude. Philippe. And we edited the Philippe on the roster. We took the E away from his name. Yeah.
Phil.
Yeah, Philip.
Because it's like Marco Pierre White. You know when he's talking and then he pronounces something, he puts a little bit of fucking French on the end?
Yeah, I
can't be that guy.
Chorizo.
Yeah.
Prosciutto. But you're just like going on about, I put in the baguette with the chorizo.
Yeah, I can't do 7 different accents.
I don't get it.
I can say blackie in a French accent.
Blicky.
That's South African. Don't do that. That's probably the only thing that's offensive about that.
Blicky?
Ben again.
Yeah.
Fellas, Ben in Chicago. Last one for tonight. Y'all were talking about...
Did he do it all in one day?
Yeah.
Last one for tonight.
That's what he said, last one for tonight.
Oh, I love you, Ben.
About hijinks, shenanigans, shit like that in the kitchen that then took a turn and got kind of scary or got kind of abusive or got kind of like sexually assaulty kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
We've all seen that too, right? Like that shit just used to happen. Luckily, that's going away. I just finished managing a kitchen that was all women. None of that shit happened, right? We ran a real clean kitchen. But I ran a place a while back where after I left, and we were all having a party after I left, as sort of a going away party for me, sort of just like an ongoing rolling party, it came out that one of the servers had told me, I used to drink a lot, fellas. I used to drink a lot. She told me that during service one night, she told me that she was afraid of one of my cooks, this guy named Ziggy. And it turned out that was because one night he called her and she didn't answer because he wanted to date her and she didn't want to date him. But he called her and she didn't answer, and he called her and she didn't answer. And then finally she goes to take her garbage out or something, and he's passed out drunk on the steps in front of her apartment building. And she felt fucking in danger. And she told me about it, and I didn't do anything about it. And to this day, I feel bad about that because she was legitimately in danger from somebody who, like, I was that guy's boss, right? That feels bad. That feels like I didn't do my duty there.
Yeah. Dude, Ben, you fucking totally get this thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to do, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That is a funny one because you want your day to end too. Like there is a lot of problems throughout your day. Like we talked about, buddy, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems to solve all day, every day.
Yeah.
You do acknowledge this is a big one. Like I've had it too, where like I've been like in charge of the kitchens, maybe on the head chef's night off, especially, and they're like, Lachie, when chef's not here, when you're on, this guy thinks he can do this. So I sort of like pull that up. You're like, dude, what the fuck, cunt? Like, like it's not, carte blanche for being a fucking piece of shit. But
yeah, I feel like our attitude,
and then you just leave, right? But you leave, you do think about the problems that are about to occur.
Yeah,
I never had anything like that happen where I was like literally. But you do think, shit, what's going to happen? Because you want to leave 15 minutes for everyone else. You want to leave as soon as you can if you're in charge.
Yeah. But
so
it
like,
was a bit more autonomy, wasn't it? Like I feel like the attitude when we were younger was like everyone kind of is looking after themselves in a way. Like it's a bit more, but I don't think we had the full understanding of like what women go through.
No,
so we needed to be a little bit more,
it was more
like taking it on for them. back then. But whereas like we were all chefs. Because from what I understand, we're all chefs. You're all autonomous, male or female. It didn't matter. But maybe we should have been a little bit more like, oh, she is female. Let's jump in there a little bit more.
Yeah, it was just seen to be like that's just another problem. Like everyone has problems with each other on any given day. So I just felt like it was that sort of thing.
Yeah,
not
also
necessarily like this is an ongoing thing. And also like, why would your banter about everything, but like a bloke's not going to go, hey, I'm going to show up at this chick's house.
Yeah.
Guess what? Isn't that funny?
But
like,
dude,
they're not going to share that, right?
He was 2 cocktails over being romantic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like, he called her. She's going to look out the window. He's going to go, ta-da.
I don't know. I think she's probably like 800 cocktails too short because she's obviously saying no to him a lot.
Yeah.
Before that, yeah.
But he's I'm going to shoot my shot. But he's gotten too much courage before he's gone there.
I actually don't think that's a chef problem. That's just a fucking stalker problem.
Yeah.
But also you can't, I don't know, you like who you like, right? There's that problem too. And you don't have the time in the day to go, do you want to go down to the park? Or do you want to, I don't know, what do you want to do?
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, but like, what do you want to do? Like, maybe I'm talking like Kings Park, not like the Girraween Park around here or anything like that. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you want to do? You want to picnic? Is what I kind of.
And she just goes, "No,
should we go down to the park. It's 12 p.m. Yeah,
Pete, I've told you, no
more parks."
And he's like, "I hear you." And he's just thinking all day about like, I'm just gonna rock up at her front door, and I'm just gonna say I love her.
Yeah.
Better go to the pub first. I need a couple of drinks, and then I'm going to go to her front door, and I'm going to fucking tell her.
Yeah.
She'll get it.
I woke up at, I passed out on Sal's rental house before she got home too.
Oh,
once. Yeah? But we were sort of seeing each other anyway before that. Yeah. It wasn't like surprise.
That's what I mean.
Passed out person.
Yeah, he's like one good conversation away from being romantic.
Yeah.
But you got to have that conversation first.
Yeah. Let's build a rapport before we start looking at each other's windows. Yeah.
I mean, the aftermath of that might be a little bit different. Like, I think maybe Ben could help with the aftermath or something like that, where she says, hey, one of your chefs did this at my house.
Yeah.
And that's when you maybe go up to him and be like, buddy, that was a really dumb thing to do, but now you have to follow a bunch of rules.
Yeah, but that also brings up a good conversation about like who's in charge of who, because like it is a lifestyle. Well, it definitely used to be like your chef was your chef, like it was your dad, or bigger than your dad, or bigger if it was a female, bigger than your mum. So
still dad.
Yeah, still dad. Exactly. Yeah, your dad says no.
An authoritative person.
Yeah, because that shit used to happen all the time. It was like, you can't do this outside of work, or you shouldn't do this, or this is my guidance.
Yeah.
About how your life should go, and then you should, and if you do that, you should be at work on. But it all came back to yeah.
So you can go and do that, but rock up on Monday and you fucking. I remember having those conversations with people. Hey, like whatever you want to do it.
Yeah.
But you are back here on Monday and you are in a good form.
Yeah.
I don't want bullshit. So you are kind of taking over people's lives a little bit.
When I first started my apprenticeship, I worked with this guy called Mel. And he was really cool. He had over me at the time. We started our apprenticeship at the same time, but he'd done like at least maybe 6 months a year in a kitchen before, and I never worked in the kitchen. So he had it like, he had that year sort of locked in on salads and fucking he could open the cool room door probably, just all that usual bullshit, right? He's fucking such a good guy. And he is a skater. I used to skate too, but I played cricket and all other stuff. But he was like just so hardcore into skating. He broke his leg skating probably 6 months into our apprenticeships. And they had that chat with him of like, what do you want to do? You want to skate or do you want to be a chef? And that was eye-opening for me, I remember. Like, whoa, can you say that to people? It's just a job.
No.
And it's like, fuck, this isn't a job. This isn't just a job.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. Like, why is it special?
I don't know.
But it is. Well, it was. Maybe it's a little bit. Maybe it has calmed down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, definitely high-level kitchens, probably the same. Yeah. But we're talking, I don't know what restaurant that was, but they can be like pubs and clubs and cafes and shit, and someone's pulling you up and being like, do you want to skate or do you want a chef? You know?
But like they were commenting on what he wanted to do. It's like, but the way I heard it was like, yeah, but I want to skateboard, motherfucker. I've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
I wanted downhill. I was downhill mountain biking, all kinds of shit, right? Not like all of that is dangerous. Surfing is body surfing. What I was doing and the rocks was dangerous. I didn't think, oh, should I tell you about it? And then it was like, but it was other chefs commenting about it that got in my head. It was like, no, it wasn't just the head chef going, what a dickhead. Now we have to find someone else. It was like, nah, he has to decide, bring him in. It was all the chefs on board with it. Like, what the fuck? He broke it. He just was skating. He broke his leg. That's it. It's an accident.
There was no room for other things. The only room that people allowed for was drinking and doing drugs and partying at festivals and then working. Yeah,
but it's that do whatever you like. Just don't fuck it up for us. Yeah. Don't fuck it up for the business.
You having a broken leg fucks the whole thing up. Yeah. But you are also salary chefs, right? I guess you are somehow locked in.
He was definitely a financial
for a year.
Because, I mean, he was the cheapest. Well, me and myself and him were the cheapest.
Yeah.
$5.25 an hour.
Yeah, it's funny how it could bleed over.
Don't break your leg. We need you to do this.
I bet you it's way different right now. Even when, you work down south a bit, and a lot of guys down there are surfers before they're chefs, almost, which was an interesting kind of like change.
Well, at least, exactly. And that's how they've evolved, is gone on. Now I've sort of made it. I can get not a cushy job, obviously. It's very hard work down there, but that's the lifestyle you want, or that's the area you want to live in because of the things you're into or your vocation before you started fucking chefing. Yeah.
Like it was okay. I just remember because we were doing pretty fucking high class food. The guys were allowed to go surfing before they came to work.
Yeah.
Which was cool, but I always thought, fuck, man, that would have never have happened. Like, if you came in and you were tired or you were a little bit fucked or whatever, people are like, dude, you got to stop all of the things that is.
They would try and recognise what made you tired and make you stop doing it.
But there's this trade-off because it's so hard to get good chefs down there. It's like, it's cool. That stuff is cool, and we'll work around that a little bit. I think that, you can almost eat a little bit when you get in and get started, and then they had their full day.
You're right.
I found that just very interesting. It was not really anything that I saw. It was just like the attitude that I saw from the chef.
I think it was the place I was at as well. It was like, it was just one of those sort of three that people wanted to work at and I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Because I was so green.
Yeah.
I didn't realise, he is dispensable, but you have signed him as a...
Yeah, you don't want to fucking sign someone and they break their leg or... roll their ankle and they can't. Any excuse not to come in, not good.
But I was like, dude, I got hit by 2 bouncers played cricket on the weekend, and you gave me the weekend off, and that's what I chose to do. Was like just be in the nets with 150k an hour, sort of shit. You're like, that's dangerous too, eh?
Yes.
Hit me on the kneecap. I'm not going to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't doing much by then, eh? I was just working and drinking.
Well, that was sort of my old life blending in at that point for the first 6 months. It's like, oh, shit, I actually can't go to cricket training. I actually can't. Now I can't skate. And I definitely wasn't waking up and surfing anymore. Yeah. So it was like, or swimming. It was like, nah, you got 2 hours worth more of sleep and it all just disappears. You don't see your friends and your friends disappear for the next decade. And you're like, where's Lachie gone? Now Lockie's here all the time. You're like, fuck, I saw you. Dude, I went to, that's actually a funny segue. I went to my friend Brendan's 40th birthday the other day on the weekend. Actually able to go. I was like, oh, fucking let's go. I still had like, should I go? This is fucking, it's still, I've missed so many birthdays. It's such a bizarre experience to walk in with everyone and...
Oh, you're here.
Yeah, it's this shit. I fucking haven't seen you forever and all that sort of stuff. Everyone's lovely. But it was that like, I've seen you on Instagram a lot and I've seen you on this a lot. And you're like, yeah, I exist. I just haven't. It was more like I haven't seen you in person, but I've seen you a lot. Yeah. I was like, I just haven't. Sort of chefing and COVID as well. So it was like chefing, COVID and whatever else went on.
Yeah.
But then it's like, hello. It's
weird.
To be honest, I'm 42. You're like, fuck, what?
I've probably inadvertently kept up a similar kind of lifestyle.
Right.
With comedy and stuff. Like I am away on weekends or there are a lot of excuses.
Yeah, you're up at night.
Yeah.
Because you are. That's
There
when
are
the
a lot
comedy
of-
shows are. Yeah.
I still feel very similar to like, you know, even when maybe you had an evening off, but you knew you had a big shift either side, you were kind of like, oh, I'm not going to go
Yeah.
to that thing. Comedy can be a little bit like that. Like last week where I was like, oh, I can come. It's going to fuck the next 3 hours after that.
Yeah.
For Chase's thing.
Yeah.
So maybe I still live that lifestyle. Maybe I got to get out of it even more.
Oh, dude, I tried to get the Chases thing. I got stuck in traffic for like an hour. I was on the freeway for an hour, you know, because it was a storm.
Yeah.
So I actually left. You're like, you couldn't get there, whatever. Didn't
Yeah,
matter.
for that exact reason.
Yeah. And then I was like, I was just going. I left at the exact time, giving me a lot of time to get there, and I was stuck in there. And then I drove through the city. I could not get anywhere. It's not like you couldn't get a park. You couldn't move to get a park. And then I just went, fuck it, and just
Done?
I was driving for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then went, what the fuck is the point? At that point, it was like 8 o'clock or something. What the fuck?
Jesus. Wow.
I know. Anyway,
I'm glad I made that call. I went to Claremont.
I should have just gone, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to see it, but it looked like this then. It was like the calm before the storm. And as soon as I left my house, it just went boof. Like, I was like, forever. And then forever the whole night. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, since
Right off the road.
Since I had a little bit of burnout a few weeks ago, I have been trying to think about like what habitual things am I continuing, and maybe that's also one as well. Is I'm kind of keeping busy. Like I'm still not in normal people's society.
Yeah.
There's always something on top of it where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to birthdays, or I'm not going to like people's. I'm still not hanging out with my mates that much because I'm doing other shit.
Yeah, same.
I'm either hanging out with them doing a creative project like a film or Jaski's stuff, or I'm like doing comedy with them, doing a podcast with them, or what, like, you know what I mean? Not just being a normal person. And I think definitely my girlfriend's sick of it.
But what is a normal person?
Well, like, you know, weekends are off. Like
Yeah.
I've got things scheduled on every weekend. Like there's things that I do.
That's gay though.
Yeah. I don't know. You go to see people and I don't know.
You're supposed to say, actually, no, the kids say that's cap.
That's cap.
That's cap.
Is that what they mean by that?
like?
Gay.
It's bullshit.
Oh.
But that's just bullshit. It's just lame bullshit. That's cap. That's just a full TikTok thing. Yeah. That's
Gay.
Cap. Yeah. If you can't say that right, so you gotta say that's cap.
Yeah.
I just enjoy doing what I enjoy doing. And I have now come back where I don't mind going, like, okay, because this is going to sound real lame. Like, I don't like going to see my daughter do shit, like in plays or music things or concerts. But it's because I used to do that as a kid. It's nothing to do with chefing or that you're lame or that's cap or anything like that, right? It's just I used to do it so much. I'm like, I'm so bored of it from when I was 10 that I don't want to see a 10-year-old fuck this up, and you know, but I always go because I do want to see it, and I'm super cool with it, and I'm super proud that she does this shit, and she's really good and all this stuff. But it's like in my head, I'm like, fuck, dude, I used to be backstage being bored out of my fucking mind. And being paraded around, and then you sit there and you play for the oh, look at these precious kids and stuff like that. It's just all that in my head.
Do you reckon she's got that though?
No way.
Yeah.
No.
She's not bored.
No.
She's not getting paraded around. She's enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But you've got like a...
But that's how I felt.
Yes.
And I was just too good, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But she clearly loves it. We give the option of not doing it too, or not doing it the next year. Obviously, you commit to the year. You want to fucking do it, you're going to commit.
Yeah.
But if like next year you go, you want to keep doing this, she always says, yeah, fuck, it's good, yeah.
It sounds like, you've got like...
And she loves the plays. She loves doing the musicals.
You've got some
but I fucking hate watching
superimposed
it, dude.
trauma.
I know. But that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still go. I'll still do it. That's nothing to do with chefing. But it's the same thing. It's like I hated it when I was a kid. No one actually made me do it too. I remember saying, but everyone was like, not my parents, everyone around me. It was like, you help everyone you do. Because I used to just be better than everyone, but I used to help, but it was out of frustration. It was out of just fucking hit the G. G's there. Hit it just do me a fucking,
do me a solid on this G, bro.
That's me as a 10 or 11, 12-year-old, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I like watching it, and I don't like seeing the kids fuck up and no one's told them. So it's he is so out of tune. It's all I can hear for an hour.
Really?
And I know no one's told him that.
You're like a
yeah.
You're
it's
like
so annoying.
What do they call them?
It's my problem. It's 100% my problem. No one else's problem.
What are they called? Like those really good fucking maestro dudes.
Autistic.
Yeah, almost. But you're like one of those that didn't end up doing it forever.
Yeah, because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't an option.
So I cut it off.
In the 1500s, it wasn't an option. Beethoven just was.
Yeah, that's your vocation now. That's for you
Beethoven.
forever. That's you forever.
Because you've got that, magical skill.
Yeah, or you're a...
But you're a guy who had a magical skill that doesn't do it.
And just had other choices.
Who just went and did other shit.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
That could be a TV show.
Yep.
You can hear anything out of tune. You know what I mean? Microscopically.
But that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's fucking shit. It's real shit.
And it's you're listening to Beethoven, you're like, these guys are fucking this up completely.
And I never ever talk about it either because it's sort of annoying to even think about.
And they're 11-year-old kids who are just trying to nail Beethoven. And you're like, this is all over the place.
They're just trying to nail anything. That's what pisses me off more because it's you got 4 notes to play. Tell this motherfucker he's out of tune and tell him why. All he has to do is move his finger this much on every note. It gives me the shits. But obviously, not everyone is. Well, this is also the teachers at what these places are. It's not their one job.
Yeah, they're
to
just
do
normal.
This orchestra. They're doing the bands. They're
all just having fun, Lachie.
Yeah, they're all just having fun, enjoying your life. And here's me talking about it on a podcast.
Just stressed up.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like
and
with
then say, hey, Lachie, you want to help out? No.
Don't do that, dude. For the love of God.
So here's me shitting on it and then going, I don't want to help.
No, but
I know what's wrong.
Your help would not be helping. Trust me. You're only going to ruin some kid.
Trauma. So do you want to do it next? No one wants to do it next year. Yeah.
I realized that about sport is because I accidentally took on the assistant coaching role at this soccer thing this year.
Perfect.
Accidentally.
Yes, what I did with T-ball.
And I was like, okay, whatever. But I've never kicked a soccer ball. And within 3 weeks, I figured out how to curl it and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And I used to be really good at sport, really, really good. Yeah. But I didn't realize how good until I'm watching these kids.
Yeah.
Because when I was 5 and 6, I was doing sky hooks. I was obsessed with basketball. Yeah. I'd shoot for 5 hours a day. I loved it.
Yeah.
But these kids are uncoordinated. And my mum came over and she came down for a soccer thing. I was like, Mum, did I used to be uncoordinated like this? And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but was I still a kid? She was like, no. You would just you could move your body in whatever way it needed to go.
Yeah.
And so trying to talk to these kids so when you kick it, rather than doing this, why don't you try and do that? And they just can't do it. They're just blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
You watch them just lose control of all their limbs and heads, eh? You're like, what?
Yeah. And then there's not many, but every now and then on another field, not in my team, you'll see a kid who's kind of got that coordination.
Yeah.
And that brain coordination where they're like, I want the ball to go like this. And then, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the problem
when you see those kids, you're like, ooh, because you're you got it. So their arm moves, their off arm moves perfectly.
Yeah.
They go to pick up the ball, they're balanced with this arm.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, no one taught you that. No one taught you that. You're you just have it, hey.
Yeah, but I didn't realize any of that also because no one had talked to me about it ever.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And when I moved to Gippsland, it's one of the fucking craziest sports places for football especially, where one of the kids that I played against it was Richmond coach last year, young fella, and then Brennan Goddard, who's St Kilda all-time great and grand final guy and stuff. He was in my class, but there was also 10 other dudes that were very similar to him. Yeah. So I was maybe, I don't know, 7th or 8th back or 9th by the time I finished.
That's what you got to remember as well is I'm in the same boat as I had great coaches the best coaches without realizing it at the time. Like I had music scholarships when I was 10. So obviously you get the best teacher, you get the best, and then like, 30 years later, you're like, why haven't you taught these kids this? You're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Chill out.
That has something to do
Especially
with
cricket, and I used to do T-ball too. I was like, how hasn't this 1 day a week lady not taught the girls that are 6 how to hit a T-ball?
Yeah.
Of course, they're just doing their best, mate.
Like, they're just hanging out,
yeah.
being
and
normal
if they
people.
don't, jump in, but I don't want to jump in. Yeah. And then I found myself getting angry at it in my head and sometimes yelling weird things at the games, and to the point where I went in myself and I was just third base coach and I ended up liking it, but I still wouldn't get involved because I could teach anyone how to swing perfectly, but it would take a bit. But these kids only have like so long before the games to do it. Yeah, and then the attention. And also, like you said, it's very wearing trying to teach someone who will never get it.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have it. They're better than you at English or at speaking. They're not better than you at like hitting a ball or fielding a ball.
Yeah.
And you just have to realise, okay, some of the kids, don't ignore them, but it's a hard thing to find.
Yeah, and they're just little kids as well. So there's a few parents around.
Yeah.
Our team keeps losing, but I found it very interesting that like, maybe that's why a lot of people go into chefing, because we didn't realize it, or we even did realize it, that we have this kind of obsessive, skill-based sort of brain.
Yeah.
Because like Gordon Ramsay was under 14s or 15s soccer.
Yeah,
I think he was a Scotland soccer guy or whatever.
It's
like,
that drive until you get it perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of chefs
which doesn't end,
who had a mad skill when they were kids, right?
Yeah.
Like a heap of them. Or there's a heap of them who never found what their skill was, and when chefing came up, they were like, got it, boom.
Yeah.
And that was like created a lot of success.
Yeah. But it also comes from like, I don't know. Like I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know I was good at any of this shit till you just start doing it, right? And then you're obsessed with it. You're just obsessed with it.
It's that obsessive
Even
brain.
like Lego when I was a kid. Just build epic Lego shit.
Yeah.
And I'd sit there for ages. And then when I was at school, the teachers were like, he doesn't concentrate on anything. And it's like, yeah, but for 8 hours on a Sunday, he built this fucking thing.
Yeah.
He found all the parts.
Yeah, I was shit at school as well.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, he doesn't concentrate on anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but what have you given him to concentrate on?
I was shit at school because I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
They never know what they're talking about. If you get a good teacher, I was exceptional. Yeah.
I had one good teacher for like half a semester in year 12, and he was good because he just engaged with me and talked to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like not doing the other multimedia stuff that well, and he was like, oh, do you want to check out this animation program? And I ended up going and doing that at university. Because he was like, sit in this room and make this animation. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Whack, whack, whack,
Yeah.
And I just taught myself how to do 3D animation.
Yeah, right.
Because this guy just gave a shit for a second.
Yeah.
Whereas everywhere else in Traralgon, they're fantastic sports people, terrible teachers.
Yeah, right.
Just they didn't give a fuck, eh?
Unfortunately, it's who the teachers are. And I think they all start out, I hope they all start out with that ambition.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck no. Even when I was...
It's what private schools are best for.
Yes.
And like it sucks if you can't afford it or you have too many kids for the money and all this sort of shit. But like my daughter's school is awesome for the teachers. I don't even give a shit what the school looks like, as long as she's learning and they give a fuck and they clearly give a shit. And all the programs they do, even for the parents to come and have a look at, is like exceptional.
Yep.
But if she went to the public school just near our house, it's honestly like a minute away.
Yep.
It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. We had like, when I was in high school, year 9 or something, we had a bunch of young teachers come to our school all at once.
Right.
And they ended up all being friends, and they were kind of friends with us because they were like 21.
Yeah.
And we got an insight into teachers because these motherfuckers were like drinking all the time.
Yeah.
And just being young teachers.
Yeah.
I think banging each other and stuff as well, for sure.
Yeah.
And they were all the sports teachers and things.
Workplace. Same workplace as every other workplace, I think.
Yeah. And we had one guy who was just so candid with the kids where he was like, oh man, I got so drunk marking these papers last night, you know? And we're like, what? What are you talking about?
I know.
Is that what teachers do? They get wasted and mark papers?
And then have to explain it in the morning.
Yeah.
Or like the next day.
Like usually you would just shut up and not say anything, but these guys, for some reason, were very candid with our group of friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, these teachers couldn't give two shits about what they have to do. They just care about getting the money and having a job.
Yeah, and just teaching the syllabus. And that's what probably 2/3 of my teachers were like in high school. They're just teaching the syllabus. If you don't understand, they just either repeat it or kick you out of the class because you're being a pest. You're like, well, no, I'm either asking my fucking buddy next what the fuck you were even talking about.
Yeah.
Or you were, So it's just one of those things. But that's like anything. Like if you're a good teacher, I think you should be rewarded for being a good teacher. But I don't know how you can do that other than being recognised at a private school and maybe getting a little bit more money or a bit, I don't know.
Yeah.
You liking the environment where you work a bit better.
Yeah.
I think they should be recognised because there's a total bunch of shit cunt teachers that I ever had. They were on the same money as the good ones. And you're like, you're actually ruining my life for the next 20 years.
You ruin lots of people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at least.
Especially for punishing kids as well. Yeah. Like because you're lazy.
There's people that are recommending people leave at 9 years old to go, at like year 9 level to go doing bricklaying. I was like, yeah, but because you couldn't be bothered explaining algebra, how they learn. That's it. You just went A plus B is this. Why can't you understand this? Like, well, I'm not everyone. There's 40 other kids in this class. We all learn differently. I know that's tiring. I'm not.
Think about how many teachers we need in the world, in Australia, compared to the amount of students that we have, and the amount of those teachers that'll be like, oh, I really want to be a teacher and affect somebody's life.
Yeah, bro. I had this. My favorite teacher ever was my year 2 and 3 teacher in Chicago. Shout out Ben. And
was it Ben?
No. I just remember Chicago. As soon as he said Chicago, I remember Mr. Silvato. He was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Cool in the way, like not cool as in like jazzy or anything like that. He was just like, if someone else didn't understand, he would just walk up to him and just eventually nut it out where you would understand what you're fucking talking about.
Yeah. And
then this was at a school. This was in America where you could go up. So I was in like 4th grade maths as a 7-year-old sort of thing, but to year 2 in history or something. You know what I mean? So you just went around like a high school. Just went around to different. So you could be in a class with fucking 12-year-olds as a 7-year-old.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool. But he would teach you. But they ended up fucking him. They ended up making him do too much because he was very good and cared, and so that's where that sort of chefing thing comes in. It was like, yeah, this is what happens to you, man. That's what happens to you. The ones that give a shit or can do it, they'll just make you do everything.
You can't say no because you're passionate as well.
Ended up but also they had a lot of they called them crack babies then, but I think that's a different term now, where like your mum's on crack, but they weren't crack babies. They were literally like kids my age on crack in year 2.
Really?
They would find that, and so he would put them. So they would send all of those kids to him. Yeah. So like, so not only did he have his class and try to,
he'd have
send
all the
people
to
kids. Higher education classes and all that sort of stuff, he would have all this bullshit to deal with, which is what I went to school like. And then imagine in that class for like 2 years, seeing all that shit. Realising that
what were those kids like?
Manic, but very fun. Like
for a 7-year-old,
very fucking fun. Like not threatening either. They just had problems, dude.
They're just kids.
They would they'd find your parents' stash and then take you to school.
Fuck.
Yeah. So you like, but he would put a certain bloke in a like a. Whatever you call it, a fucking closet.
Washing machine. Oh.
No, like a closet.
Yeah.
Because it was dark, because he didn't, and still give him the work, but in the dark. and he'd get the school.
Does he like being in the dark?
He was on crack, so it's like 7-year-old on crack. I don't know how you deal with this shit. Yeah, so we would have people just freak out during the class. We had a few that would have withdrawals. I remember. Well, I know this now. In hindsight, I know what was going on. At the time, you're just like, yeah, this is what this bitch does.
Yeah, she's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, and these other guys are not. Yeah. But it was like a zoo. But he was the guy that just knew it all. But you can see why he probably burnt out.
Do you reckon he burnt out and never came back?
That's what I heard.
Man.
But I heard that from a lot of during COVID, when all these race riots were happening. I got in contact with a lot of my, childhood friends then, who I'd never spoken to before, over Facebook, because now you have it, right? And yeah, that's what they said. Is like he just school fucked him and completely burnt out. He tried to move school districts because of it, and they wouldn't let him because the school was doing he was getting high grades, and that was helping the school and all that sort of shit.
Dude.
Yeah, no.
That's the system just crushing genius.
And I was like, he was my favourite teacher. I don't even remember my teachers at that age.
I had a bunch of shit teachers.
Yeah, they're all shit, in my opinion. I had one, Mrs. Salvato, and then sort of high school, they were okay. Oh, Mrs. Kennedy in year 7, 6 and 7.
Yeah. I think that's why I frothed chefs, head chefs, mentor chefs, what we've talked to people about. Because it was like at least a person that gave a shit about the thing that you gave a shit about.
Yeah.
And you wanted to learn, and this guy knew all the stuff. So you're just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I will listen and learn. That sounds awesome. Like, that's like what a teacher should be. Like, you care, I care. We both want to care about something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's on me for not caring about algebra.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. A lot of stuff that they were teaching.
Yeah, but dudes, you didn't care about algebra. Someone had to make you care about algebra.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Most of the stuff, I was like, well, for what reason am I doing this?
Yeah.
How's it going to help me? Because most of the time they're like, well, what do you want to be? I don't fucking know. They're like, why don't you try photography? I was like, all right. Yeah. What am I doing?
Have you talked to the guidance counsellor? It's like, isn't that yours?
Dude, Traralgon didn't have a guidance counsellor.
The guidance counsellor gave me there's a computer program. You go on the computer. This is in like year 10. And then the computer program from your answers will tell you what you possibly could be or what you enjoy because of your because of your answers. So
we haven't even got artificial intelligence, but this fucking DOS program's going to do it.
I'm not even making this up. It could not be more wide ranging. So it went from like, yeah, you can be a professional musician. It was like, yeah, no shit, pass. Like, I already know I don't want to be all these things. So, and then they're like, you could forensic science, you could get into like engineering. It's like, what's an engineer? We're not going to answer this. We're just going to tell you you could be that.
Totally.
It's up to you to figure that out. All that sort of stuff.
Press Y or N.
Yeah. And you're like, dude, I could, guess what? I understand. I could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty motivating computer right there.
It's up to you.
You could be whatever you want.
That was the
computer.
Early days of that bullshit.
Thanks, MS-DOS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please press function.
I actually remember the first time I went on that it didn't come up with anything because I typed in my user code wrong or something. It's one of those things that's probably common now. Everyone goes, oh, yeah, dickhead. Yeah. But at the time, you're like, why isn't this? And no one knew why it wasn't working. All I'd done is, put a 5 instead of a 6. And they were like, why isn't this working? No one knew because no one's a computer programmer at the school. They're just like, can you babysit the guy that might quit in year 10?
Yeah.
At the computer?
They don't even care. They bought a computer so they don't have to care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to ask you these questions. Just type them into this machine.
Yeah.
And it will tell you.
I got in trouble with the librarian a lot because they kicked me out of geography because I had a problem with the geography teacher, as in she had a problem with me. And so they, instead of giving me, I was already doing like 8 subjects out of 6 for TE. So it didn't matter. So they gave me a study period. It was in the library. And I'd put my headphones on and listen to whatever the fucking latest Blink-182 or whatever fucking CD was in my Discman. But you could kind of hear it. But it wasn't loud, but you can kind of hear it. And this librarian, nobody else in the library, because no one has library class. It was just me. It was just them go to the library at this period. And she would always come over and go, make sure your earphones are down. And she would keep coming over until it was on number 1 and I couldn't hear it. And I was like, where are all these people that are can you tell me who's being bothered? And not only will I go over to them, I'll give them the other ear of and we can be friends. It was like that. And they're like, how dare you speak to me, sort of thing. And I was like, but you sit here all day. Can't I just, there's no one else around. We could put a boom box up and you'd have better time. It was that. So even when I had
just grumpy old people,
I could get all my homework done in that one period for the whole fucking week. And then she was still being a bitch. And I was like, well, I'm allowed to do this. And why aren't you doing it? I'm not complaining about you being a fucking bitch. And then,
that's what I disliked is they tried to force authority.
It's strong anyway.
Yeah, without actually doing any of the work.
Yeah.
So I was always like, no.
Also, they don't exactly. And if a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid says anything intelligent against it, there's no way that person's going to react well.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they're doing anyway.
Yeah, I almost broke this teacher once when she was like, get back here. And I'm like, no, I'm going to leave this class. Yeah. And I started walking out. She's like, I'm telling you for the last time, get back here. And I was like, you can't tell me anything. And she just broke because it's like, oh no, my fake authority this kid has figured it out. You know what I mean? You can't tell me anything. You'll get detention. I don't care. What if I don't care about any of your rules?
Yeah.
About your suspensions and detentions and things, then what?
I was telling my daughter because she said one of her, such a weird story, one of her friends nearly got detention and I couldn't understand how she would even know that.
Well, we're going to go soon.
All right.
Yeah. She nearly got detention.
Yeah, and then I was like, there was a time, I said one time I got detention and never showed up and nothing ever happened. So that's probably the closest I nearly got detention. Yeah.
How many more speak pipes were there?
That was it.
They're done with Ben?
Yeah.
What a legend.
I know.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. That's exactly what we were looking for.
I love you, Ben.
From what we're doing is honesty, man.
Obviously, ruder as well.
Yeah, obviously.
Ruder.
I can't support you too much on this pod, dude, but just enough. You know what I mean? I want to be friends.
We can support, we can support 3 of the 4. Yeah.
But no judgment at all.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice, man. Thanks.